when she reached the tiny copse that had so seemed like safety when she emerged from the cart. She pressed her cheek to the rough bark of the nearest tree and dragged in a long breath. But the moment didn't last, when a sound like footsteps closed in behind her. She stumbled in what she hoped was the opposing direction, limbs uncooperative. A deep voice called out, the words garbled as her heartbeat thumped like a drum in her ears. And then there was a shove at her back. The earth came at Ember all at once, and heat exploded overhead as she fell. Her breath was stolen as she desperately scrabbled against the ground, but far too much weight pressed her into the muck. A ragged breath was all she could manage, and she thought, surely this was how her life would end. Not by overzealous punishment or giddy executioner, but by suffocation in the mud. Filthy and fitting, if a surprise. Then the earth fell away as Ember sailed upright. She opened her mouth to scream as arms wrapped around her middle, but only a pathetic whimper came out, metallic dirt coating her tongue. She swung and connected with something much too hard, sending another shock of pain down her already aching arms. Angry tears sprang to her eyes as her body betrayed her, sagging into the arms of her captor. Fury still welled, but the enchantment rose anew, and she could only mumble demands to be released. The grip around her tightened, and she was lifted farther, legs dangling and as useless as the doll-like woman she left behind. This is what I get, she thought weakly, her head falling back so that she could finally see the man who'd caught her. Half his face was blotted by shadows, but nothing about it said man. Bastard, perhaps, but it was the color of blood, horned, angry. Ember recognized that anger, but it was slipping away from her even as the horror that she wasn't hallucinating took hold. She wasn't staring into the face of a man at all, but into the face of a demon. He said nothing, one eye catching the strange light and shining like a predator, as his grip shifted to possess her completely. Ember's feet were no longer being ripped at by the brambles, the rough earth no longer biting into her arms and legs, and her lungs finally took a full breath. But she would trade all those comforts to be free. She tried to thrash away, but it did no good. And so, Ember finally gave in and begged. "Please," she choked out, voice as pathetic as she knew it would be. "Please, let me go." But she couldn't even convince a demon to leave her there in the muck to die. Instead, she was being carried back to the cart, back to the horrors she had almost escaped from, and the swirling sorcery finally won, turning her world dark.